On this video, we're going to be looking at subsidies. A good example of a subsidy is the Eat Out to Help Out scheme that the Chancellor brought in during the COVID crisis, where they were giving up to £10 for people to have a meal on a Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. So what that effectively does for restaurants is it was reducing their costs. That therefore meant they could reduce the prices. That would encourage people into the restaurants, and so that would hopefully get the economy starting to move again. So the desire of a subsidy is to increase consumption and production of something. So you're going to get subsidies on things like green energy or high-tech investment, that sort of thing. This video assumes that you've already seen the video on indirect taxes because I'm taking a lot of the same examples. So we'll start from our market. If you look at this on the left hand side, you can see that the market clearing price is £100 per unit, because at that price 22,000 goods are demanded and 22,000 goods are supplied, and the government is going to give away a £30 subsidy on every unit that's sold. So what does this mean? Well, imagine that the firm wants to supply 34,000 units. Now, originally it was going to supply those at a price of £130, but if the market price is £100, then the supplier will still be receiving £130 because they'll be getting 100 from the consumer and 30 from the government. So they'll be prepared to supply those 34,000 units at a market price of £100. So all I've done is I've adjusted that supply curve back by £30. And here I've adjusted the other supplies by that £30 as well. Now you can see there that at the original price of £100, 22,000 goods are demanded, but suppliers are putting 34,000 on the market, so that is not a market clearing price. If you look at the price of £80, 26,000 goods are demanded and 26,000 goods are supplied. So the market clearing price is £80. So clearly the consumer is £20 a unit better off, because the price has fallen in the shops from £100 to £80. However, on top of that, the producer is going to be receiving £30 from the government. So the producer will be receiving £110. So they're going to be £10 better off. So both consumer and producer benefit from the subsidy. So what's going to be the impact on the various economic agents? Well, from the government's perspective, they are paying out £30 on each of 26,000 units. So in total, they're going to be paying out £780,000. Now remember that one, because it's the easiest way of getting evaluation on an answer that I know. They are paying out 780k on this, so there's going to be an opportunity cost because that money can't be used for health or education or other things. As for the consumer, they are receiving £20 on each of the 26,000 units because their price has gone down. So they are receiving in total £520,000. The producer is receiving the other £260,000 because they're getting an extra £10 on each of the 26,000 units that are being sold. So again, let's take our starting market equilibrium, P and Q, and this time we are going to give firms a subsidy of £30 a unit. So we get a parallel line £30 below the existing supply curve, showing that unit subsidy. Remember that it's a decrease in costs to the firm as far as they're concerned. So the diagram, well, slightly more complex than the tax diagram, but remember that everything is going on at a quantity of QS, the new market clearing quantity. Well, as far as the consumer is concerned, the price has fallen from P down to PS. So that rectangle there is the consumer benefit. As for the producer, they are receiving a higher price, so you need to follow the equilibrium line up to the original supply curve. So the producer is benefiting as well. Who benefits most will depend entirely upon the elasticity of demand. So a bit more straightforward than the tax work, but the diagram is slightly more complex. Just remember that the producer rectangle goes on top on the subsidy diagram, but the consumer rectangle goes on top if you're doing a tax diagram. And that's it for subsidies.